What's up, you guys? My name's Grady. I listen to country music on this channel, along with whatever else I want to. And today, I'm rocking my Believe shirt, my favorite purchase from this holiday season. We got Santa Bigfoot, and I'm going to be talking about the Grammy nominations that came out a couple days ago. I did this for the CMA Awards, and y'all really enjoyed it, and so now I'm doing it for the Grammys. So there's some news. I'm only going to be talking about kind of the country and maybe a little in the Americana categories today on this video. So if you're here to hear my opinions of rap album of the year or something, you're out of luck. That's not what I do here. But I wanted to mention a few things about the Grammys on the whole. On the whole, I think they tend to get the quality in country music way more right than the CMAs or the ACMs, which feels much more manipulated by politics within Nashville. I think that the Grammys have developed a reputation, I've written about this before, of really understanding the cream of the crop in Nashville better than the people in Nashville. So it's almost like the LA perspective looking in is better than the Nashville perspective self-reflecting, which, I mean, that's why I don't think I would ever live in Nashville and cover country music, because I kind of feel similarly, that you can do it better from somewhere else. So there was some big news in the all genre categories, and I think on the whole, they kind of showed some love to country music in the main categories. Especially the big news was that Golden Hour was nominated for Album of the Year. She's up against Cardi B and Brandi Carlile and Drake, H.E.R., her, Post Malone, Janelle Monáe, and the Black Panther album featuring Kendrick Lamar. Now, I could kind of see Kacey taking this category. It's really exciting that she's in there at all. Kacey, I've been a huge advocate for. I think Golden Hour is actually her worst album of the three that she has released, but it is definitely the most vibey. It's sort of shimmering and gorgeous and feels super laid back, and it's definitely the most pop of any of her albums. And so I feel like she has extended enough olive branches to the pop community and sort of come to represent a resistance to country music in some ways. She's like the Katniss Everdeen of country music, where she was making really traditional stuff, and country radio wouldn't play her, and now she's making more kind of poppy stuff, and country radio still won't play her. And why would she cater to them? You know what I mean? So I think, like, for a lot of reasons, Kacey being kind of seen as a gay icon, being seen as just this like fashionable, fun sort of diva within the country scene, she's been an entry point for a lot of people that wouldn't otherwise listen to country music. And so I do think there's some kind of like, it can be a little frustrating, the cynical part of me, that it's like, okay, so now you're on board with Kacey Musgraves, even though Pageant Material was a masterpiece, and Golden Hour is the one that kind of gets nominated for Album of the Year. That's kind of how I see it. But on the other hand, I still think it's a major net positive that Golden Hour is getting national acclaim, and that people can enter into Kacey's music and maybe hear some other people in the songwriting community of country music. So that's cool to see. By the way, I Forgive You is a great album. I think definitely getting some of that kind of upper crust liberal love too, and I'll be interested to see if it wins. Otherwise, I don't know. There's a lot of hip hop in this category, and I wonder if it's all going to split the vote. The Grammys are trying to be real woke right now, and we'll see if it works out or if they just kind of vote along their normal lines and maybe this backfires. So I don't know. I could actually see Kacey winning this. There was also some love shown to Shallow, which was the song from A Star Is Born that Lady Gaga performed. Now, not a country song, but that movie and that soundtrack were so country adjacent, being curated by Lucas Nelson and having Jason Isbell and Lori McKenna and Natalie Hemby and Hillary Lindsey and all these big songwriter names involved in the soundtrack. I think it definitely infused it with a sort of country-ish vibe. And Shallow is an amazing song. I would love to see that take Song of the Year. It's up against some huge heavy hitters, and I would be kind of, including The Middle, which features Maren Morris, not a country song, but I would love to see Shallow take that category. I really don't want This Is America to take that category, because while I think it's an incredible video, provocative, interesting subject matter, and a really cool beat, I think Song of the Year is a songwriting award, and I do not think the lyrics of that song are very understandable or even very interesting. So, I don't know. That's its own little point. So Best New Artist was the other all genre category that country saw some love in, and that was with Luke Combs and Margot Price getting nominated. Luke Combs, I think, has a really good shot of this. I mean, of these people, I think it's between Luke, Dua Lipa, and BB Rexa in terms of who had a big year with multiple hits. Luke Combs has gone from like Joe Schmo to selling out arenas in a year, and he had the biggest album in country music this year. And yeah, I could absolutely see him taking this. Now, having a big country white guy win this award doesn't feel very Grammys-ish to me, so I don't think that's going to happen, but good for him for being in there. Margot Price has been around the scene for a few years. I'm not sure why she was nominated for Best New Artist now, after her second album, which I think is really good, but maybe I don't like it as much as her first album, Midwestern Daughter, Farmer's Daughter, something like that. Midwestern Farmer's Daughter. Am I making that up? But happy to see her in there. BB Rexa, whatever. I don't dislike BB Rexa, but I just dislike what has happened with Meant to Be being a 50-week hit on the Hot Country Songs chart. Insane. So that's the all genre categories. Now let's move over into the country stuff. First one is country solo performance. Now there's different tiers of categories. There's country performance, and then there's like best country song. So best country solo performance, I guess, truly is like who sells it the best, who performs it the best, whereas best country song is going to be a songwriting award. So best country solo performance, Wouldn't It Be Great by Loretta Lynn. Gotta love seeing the respect for our veterans in there. Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters by Maren Morris, which is a cover of an Elton John song on an Elton John tribute album. Definitely felt like the most random song on here to me. Butterflies by Kacey Musgraves. Millionaire by Chris Stapleton, and Parallel Line by Keith Urban. This is such a weird category to me, honestly. Parallel Line. I've never liked that song. It's like an Ed Sheeran tune that Keith Urban recorded. I don't like that he says, "Are we a parallel line?" Because I'm like, you can't be a parallel line. You have to be parallel to something. And if this metaphor is going to continue and work, you're parallel lines. So, I don't know. Keith Urban has got to just have like something on everyone in every academy, because nothing from Graffiti U should be nominated from that abomination of an album. Now, Chris Stapleton, I'd say, is maybe like the favorite to win this category with Millionaire. But then the Grammys also love Maren Morris. She scored a lot of nominations between some of her work in country music and with The Middle, her collaboration with Zedd. Maybe Kacey takes this. Maybe all the young people split and it goes to Loretta Lynn. Of these, man, I do kind of think Millionaire is the best delivery of a song. But I really do like Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters I like that cover of it a lot. So I'd be fine with that too. But man, I gotta say, in terms of just sheer vocal, I'm gonna go with Millionaire by Chris Stapleton. And I guess that's what they're voting on here. Again, kind of a strange category to me. And it's mimicked in the next category, which is Best Country Duo/Group Performance. We got Shoot Me Straight by Brothers Osborne, Tequila by Dan and Shay, which was huge. When Someone Stops Loving You by Little Big Town. Dear Hate by Maren Morris featuring Vince Gill. And Meant to Be by BB Rexa and Florida Georgia Line, which is now, it was one shot. Like, it was one sort of slight, I guess, to start playing Meant to Be on country radio, even though it was initially marketed as a pop song. And then they kind of changed their mind. We're like, oh, now we do consider it a country song. But it's a whole other thing to now have it be marketed. Now it's primarily known as a country song. And it's nominated in Best Country Duo Group Performance. That's pretty freaking annoying to me. Very annoying. Because that song and its dominance on the charts is now this like fundamentally influential song about country music. And I can't think of something that's really less reverent, or not that you even have to be reverent, that just is even like country at all. It's not country at all. And so I'm just very frustrated that that's even nominated. I think Dear Hate by Maren Morris and Vince Gill, man, that song is powerful, and it was released just so quickly after the shootings and that happened in Las Vegas, and I feel like it's an easy song to rally behind. I do think When Someone Stops Loving You is a gorgeous song by Little Big Town, Tequila by Dan and Shay, man, that song does something to people. People freaking love that song, and you gotta trust that on some level. Like, why does it create the reaction it does in people? Why do they love it so much? But I just still feel like I just feel a little disconnected from that song. It's like a little too clean for the kind of painful lyric, and something about it has never quite worked for me. So I'm gonna say "Shoot Me Straight" by Brothers Osborne. Man, that song is kind of like has this dark energy about it and a really fun sort of naughty rock vibe. And I love the Brothers Osborne, and I think it was such a bold choice to put that out on radio. And so I'm going, and I just like how it sounds. I really like their vocals. So "Shoot Me Straight" is my choice. Now, Best Country Song. It's a songwriting award. I'm not going to say all the names of the songwriters. We got "Break Up in the End" by Cole Swindell, "Dear Hate" by Maren Morris, "I Lived It" by Blake Shelton, interesting, "Space Cowboy" by Kacey Musgraves, "Tequila" by Dan and Shay, and "When Someone Stops Loving You" by Little Big Town. A lot of great names in the songwriting here. A lot of great names. But I got to go with "Space Cowboy." That would be my choice in this one. I am kind of surprised that "I Lived It" is in here. I really like "Break Up in the End." I really like "Dear Hate." I think "Tequila," as I said, it's clearly a well-written song. It clearly connects with people, even if I don't love the sound of it. "When Someone Stops Loving You" has got Lori McKenna, who's my favorite. We got Hillary Lindsey and Chase McGill. But "Space Cowboy," man, I think like this sort of fun of even just the title "Space Cowboy," and then even just the simple fact that the chorus is "You can have your space cowboy" is so fun, but also so somber, and it's delivered so beautifully. And I think there's a really like every line in that song is gorgeous and melancholy, and it's just, I think, a perfect song, and absolutely a Song of the Year contender. So I'm gonna say "Space Cowboy." It's got Luke Laird, who I adore, and he runs Creative Nation, which is a great kind of songwriting publishing company. And then Shane McAnally, who I can be really hit or miss on, but with Kacey, he seems to just like gel perfectly. So that's my choice. Best Country Album. Unapologetically by Kelsey Ballerini, "Port St. Joe" by Brothers Osborne, "Girl Going Nowhere" by Ashley McBryde, "Golden Hour" by Kacey Musgraves, and "From a Room Volume 2" by Chris Stapleton. This category is interesting. In some ways, I feel like they really got it right, because Ashley McBryde, "Girl Going Nowhere," getting that love, that is freaking awesome. That album deserves it. That is such a good album, and I feel like it's been overlooked this year, and Ashley McBryde hasn't really taken off on radio, but she's got the respect of the industry, and I feel like she deserves it. That is just such a classic, good record. It feels like a classic Garth record, except modern, and with this twist of not a twist, but it's just from a woman's perspective, and she delivers it so well, and you've got tenderness, and you've got darkness, and you've got romance, and you've got self-doubt. It's all there on that record. Thinking about her father. I love it. The songwriting is excellent. "Port St. Joe" by Brothers Osborne. That album has grown on me and grown on me. It's so vibey. It's like a Floridian country music record, and I love it. "Golden Hour" I think is an excellent, ethereal, lovely, beautiful, pretty, shimmery, atmospheric record with some incredible songs like "Space Cowboy." Now, "Unapologetically" by Kelsey Ballerini. How did that slip into this category? I'm not sure. I'm not saying Kelsey is not offering the industry anything, but I just feel like it's such a nothing record compared to the substance on these ones. And it is a step up from her first record, but I just find her music at this stage incredibly forgettable. But I think that she clearly works her ass off and hustles and is probably more well known than she would be just based on her music. You know what I mean? Because she's on TV all the time. She's a coach on The Voice, or she is hosting a TV show and on talk shows, and she just is, a known presence. And I think that probably served her well in getting this album nominated, because it's just not even the best kind of pop country. So I would swap that out. And then "From a Room Volume 2, love Chris Stapleton. I really do. There's some great songs on both of the From a Room albums, but "From a Room Volume 2 getting nominated, I think that's just happening from the people that don't really listen to country, and they're like, oh, well, Chris Stapleton, he's quality. And I just don't think it is that good of an album. Volume 1 I thought was better, but really they should have just been one album, in my opinion. And so I think he was slipped in there just resting on the laurels of his reputation. Now, what would I throw in to the best country album? I'd throw freaking Lori McKenna's The Tree in. That album is incredible, and the fact that it wasn't nominated for a Grammy makes me angry, because The Tree is excellent. It should be in this category, and if not in this category, at least throw it into like Best Americana Album, if that's what you have to call it, or Best Folk Album, or whatever, but that should be in here. I would also maybe throw in Dierks Bentley's The Mountain, and then Caitlin Smith's Starfire. You know, I think that album and it getting overlooked by people is a travesty. It is such an accomplishment, and it deserves a ton of ears. So I don't know what exactly I'd swap out. I would probably throw Lori's in first, and then probably Caitlin's. And and then I'd be happy with the category. I wish it could be 6 albums and include Dierks in it too, but that's what I would do to Best Country Album. Who wins this one? I think Kacey's going to win it, considering she's nominated for the all-genre one, but I think it should go to Ashley out of these. Best Americana Album, I don't have as much to say on because I haven't heard all of them. I've only listened to Brandi Carlile's and John Prine's, but I love John Prine's, and so I'm going to say John Prine's. I think all the time about like the lonely Scientists or whatever that song is. It's got a really funny title, but that song makes me laugh. And I like when they say, does Pluto go and hang out with all the other retired stars at some Hollywood bar after he found out he wasn't a planet? It's got all the whimsy of John Prine, and it's nice to listen to. So I would say that. I can't really speak to every other American Roots category because it's kind of become a catch-all in the same way Americana has, and that's all right. Anyway, that is my thoughts on the Grammy nominations. What did you think? What do you think was really missed? What would you have liked to see nominated? I didn't go too deep into it, but I just wanted to get up a sort of conversation about these Grammy nominations and hear what you guys thought.